If you're eating keto and still craving sugar, you're not failing, you're getting feedback. Cravings are signals from your brain, your hormones, and your habits. Sometimes it's simple, like not eating enough. Sometimes it's more specific, like electrolytes being off. And sometimes it's not even sugar hunger at all, but stress, sleep debt, or a learned reward loop. The tricky part is that keto changes fuel sources. Your body shifts away from glucose and toward fat and ketones.
During that transition, your appetite cues can get noisy. You might feel fine all day, then suddenly want something sweet at night. Or you might crave sugar right after a workout. The goal isn't to white-knuckle it. The goal is to decode the craving. In the next few minutes, you'll learn the most common reasons keto cravings happen, what each one might mean, and the cleanest ways to respond without breaking your plan.
Moving to slide 2. First, separate true hunger from a craving. Hunger tends to build gradually. It's flexible. You'd eat eggs or chicken and feel satisfied. A sugar craving is often urgent and specific. It wants a particular taste, texture, or brand-like sweetness. That difference matters because the fixes are different. If it's hunger, you likely need more total food, more protein, or more energy earlier in the day. If it's a craving, the trigger can be emotional, environmental, or physiological. Here's a quick self-check. Ask, did I eat a real meal in the last 4 hours? Did I drink water? Did I sleep well? Am I stressed or bored? And is the craving for anything or for something sweet and fast? On keto, you can also mistake thirst or low electrolytes for hunger. So don't jump straight to willpower. Treat it like troubleshooting. Identify the category first. Then you can choose a response that actually works, instead of cycling through snacks and still feeling unsatisfied. Moving to slide 3. A very common reason for sugar cravings on keto is simply eating too little. Keto can blunt appetite, especially early on. You feel fine, so you unintentionally undereat. Then later, your body pushes back with a strong drive for quick energy. Sugar is the brain's fastest story for energy now. This is especially common if you're combining keto with aggressive fasting, long gaps between meals, or very low calories. Another clue is timing. If cravings hit in the late afternoon or at night, it can be a sign your earlier meals were too small. The most reliable fix is not more keto desserts. It's a more solid first meal and enough protein across the day. Protein supports satiety and stabilizes appetite signals. Also check dietary fat. Keto isn't high fat by default, but you do need enough energy to feel calm and steady. If you're constantly chasing sweetness, make your meals bigger and more complete. Then reassess cravings after 3 days. Moving to slide 4. Another big one is electrolytes, especially sodium. When carbs drop, insulin drops. That makes your kidneys release more sodium and water. It's one reason people lose water weight quickly at the start. But it can also create a low-grade, something is off feeling that shows up as cravings. Some people interpret it as wanting sugar, when the body is really nudging you towards salt and fluid. Clues include headaches, low energy, dizziness when standing, muscle cramps, or feeling flat during workouts. You don't need to guess perfectly. You can test the idea by adding a salty broth or an electrolyte drink without sugar, then waiting 20 minutes. If the craving softens, that's useful information. Potassium and magnesium can matter too, but sodium is usually the first lever on keto. The key is consistency. If your electrolytes swing wildly day to day, cravings can spike unpredictably. A steady baseline of fluids and minerals often makes keto feel dramatically easier. Moving to slide 5. Sugar cravings can also mean you're not fully adapted yet. Early keto is a fuel switch period. Your body is learning to access and burn fat efficiently, and your brain is adjusting to fewer quick glucose spikes. During this phase, it's common to feel mentally foggy or low battery, and then crave something sweet for instant relief. That doesn't mean keto can't work for you. It means your system is still building the machinery for fat oxidation and ketone use. The adaptation timeline varies. Activity level, sleep, stress, and how low you keep carbs all influence it. A practical approach is to reduce friction. Keep meals simple, repeatable, and satisfying. Avoid pushing extreme deficits while adapting. If cravings hit, use a structured response: water, electrolytes, then a protein-forward snack if you truly need it. Over time, many people notice cravings become less frequent and less intense. The key is to judge progress by trends over weeks, not by one rough evening. Moving to slide 6. Let's talk about hidden carbs, because they create the most confusing cravings. If you're getting more carbs than you think, you can end up in a loop: small glucose rise, insulin response, then a dip that feels like, I need sugar. This can happen from sauces, dressings, flavored yogurts, packaged keto snacks, or even frequent sweeteners that keep your palate trained on sweet. It's not that one ingredient ruins everything. It's the pattern. If cravings show up shortly after eating, especially after a keto treat, that's a strong clue. The fix is a short audit. For 3 days, eat mostly single-ingredient foods: meat, eggs, fish, non-starchy vegetables, and added fats you measure. Keep condiments simple. Then see what happens to cravings. If they drop, you've found your lever. After that, you can reintroduce foods one at a time. This turns keto from guesswork into a clean experiment. Moving to slide 7. Sleep is one of the strongest, most underestimated drivers of sugar cravings. When you sleep poorly, your appetite hormones shift. Studies show sleep restriction can increase hunger and preference for calorie-dense foods. Your brain also becomes more reward-seeking, which makes sweet foods feel more compelling. On keto, that can be frustrating, because you're doing everything right with carbs, but your body is still pushing for quick dopamine and quick energy. The pattern is often obvious in hindsight. Cravings spike after short sleep, late nights, or inconsistent wake times. The fix isn't perfect sleep. It's protecting the basics. Aim for a consistent sleep window, reduce caffeine late in the day, and keep your last meal satisfying enough that you're not going to bed hungry. If cravings hit the next day, treat it as a recovery day. Eat steady meals, prioritize electrolytes, and don't stack a hard workout on top of sleep debt. Better sleep often looks like better keto without changing macros. Moving to slide 8. Stress can create sugar cravings even when your nutrition is solid. When you're stressed, your body prepares for demand. That can change glucose dynamics and increase the desire for quick comfort. Also, stress narrows your attention. You stop thinking about long-term goals and start looking for immediate relief. Sweet foods are a learned shortcut for that relief. On keto, stress cravings often show up as, I don't even care, I just want something. If that sounds familiar, the best tool is a pause that's short enough to actually do. Try a 2-minute reset, drink water, add a pinch of salt if you're prone to low sodium, and do slow breathing for 10 cycles. Then decide if you need food. If you do, choose something protein-forward, not sweet. Over time, this separates emotional urgency from physical need. It's not about being perfectly calm. It's about building a reliable off-ramp so stress doesn't automatically equal sugar. Moving to slide 9. Your workouts can also shape cravings. High-intensity training and long endurance sessions can increase the body's demand for readily available fuel. If you're new to keto, that demand can translate into sugar cravings after exercise. Another factor is recovery. If you don't eat enough protein, or you train hard while undersleeping, your appetite signals get louder. You might interpret that as, I need sugar, when you actually need a recovery meal. The practical move is to anchor your training days with protein and minerals. Many people do well with a protein-rich meal after training, plus sodium and fluids. If your performance is dropping sharply and cravings are rising, that's feedback to adjust volume, intensity, or meal timing. Some people also use targeted carbs around workouts, but that's a specific strategy with trade-offs. The point is simpler. If cravings reliably follow training, don't treat it like a character flaw. Treat it like a recovery problem you can solve. Moving to slide 10. Now let's address keto sweets and sweeteners. For some people, they're a helpful bridge. For others, they keep cravings alive. If your brain associates sweet taste with more please, then a keto dessert can act like a primer. You finish it, and the craving doesn't end. It escalates. Another issue is that many keto treats are calorie-dense and easy to overeat. That can create a cycle of restriction, then rebound snacking, then more cravings. A good experiment is to take a 2-week break from sweet flavors, even if they're technically low carb. Replace them with savory, high satiety foods. Think salty, crunchy, creamy, and warm. If cravings drop, you've learned something important about your personal trigger. If cravings don't change, sweeteners may not be your main issue. The goal isn't to ban anything forever. It's to know whether sweet taste is helping you stay consistent, or quietly making keto harder than it needs to be. Moving to slide 11. Sometimes the craving isn't about sugar at all. It's about texture and sensory comfort. Crunch, creaminess, warmth, and even cold can feel like I want something sweet, because many sweet foods deliver those sensations. On keto, you can redirect that need without chasing sugar. If you want crunch, try something like salted nuts in a measured portion or crispy roasted vegetables. If you want creamy, think yogurt alternatives without added sugar or a rich savory sauce over protein. If you want warm and comforting, a mug of salty broth or a hot decaf drink can calm the urge. This works because cravings often fade when the sensory need is met. It also helps you stop moralizing food. You're not weak, you're seeking a sensation. The practical skill is naming it. Instead of I need sugar, say I want crunch or I want comfort. That tiny shift makes the craving solvable. And solvable cravings don't control your choices for long. Moving to slide 12. There's also a habit layer. Cue, routine, reward. If you always had dessert after dinner, your brain expects a sweet finish, even if your body has enough fuel. That expectation can feel like a real craving. The cue might be the couch, a certain TV show, or even washing the dishes. The routine used to be sugar. The reward was relaxation. On keto, you can keep the reward and swap the routine. Create a consistent end-of-meal ritual that isn't sweet. It could be herbal tea, a short walk, or a salty snack that fits your plan. The important part is repetition. Habits change through consistency, not intensity. Another tactic is to change the cue. If the couch triggers cravings, sit somewhere else for 10 minutes after dinner. This isn't psychology fluff. It's practical behavior design. Once the loop is broken, cravings often shrink dramatically because you're no longer fighting biology and environment at the same time. Moving to slide 13. So what should you do in the moment when a sugar craving hits on keto? Use a simple sequence. Step 1. Pause and label it. Hunger, stress, habit, or sensory. Step 2. Hydrate and consider sodium, because it's a fast fix when it's the right fix. Step 3. Eat a real option if needed. Protein first, then add fat for satisfaction. Step 4. Remove friction. If trigger foods are an easy reach, cravings win more often. Make the keto choice the easy choice. Step 5. Log one sentence about the context. Not calories, not guilt. Just time, what you ate, sleep, stress, and what happened. After a week, patterns jump out. That's how you personalize keto. And if cravings are intense, persistent, or paired with symptoms like dizziness, faintness, or significant fatigue, it's a sign to slow down and consider professional guidance. Keto should feel sustainable. When it doesn't, the solution is usually smarter structure, not more restriction. Moving to slide 14, here's the big takeaway. Sugar cravings on keto usually mean one of 5 things. You're underfueled, low on electrolytes, under-recovered, underslept, or stuck in a sweet habit loop. The solution is rarely try harder. It's usually one targeted adjustment done consistently. Start with the basics. Enough food, enough protein, enough sodium and fluids, and a stable sleep schedule. Then run small experiments like removing keto sweets for 2 weeks or doing a 3-day simple food reset. If you want a quick self-test, ask, do my cravings feel physical or do they feel like a ritual? That answer points you to the right lever. If you want one next step, pick the most likely cause and commit to it for 7 days. Consistency beats complexity. If this was useful, subscribe for more clear, practical nutrition breakdowns. And comment with your experience. When do your cravings hit more? After dinner or in the afternoon? This information is not a substitute for medical advice. Control insulin. Control your biology.